So failing and succeeding, or failing to succeed. We've still got Ijad Madisch with us, also the founder of a tech startup. Is it necessary to at least fail once to succeed?
You always fail, and you have to learn from your failures to succeed. I think it's just a part of a life and everything, and I think that's, especially in the entrepreneurship, a very important factor to succeed, to fail.
Is it a prerequisite for investors or for small companies or for bigger companies as well on taking on these new guys, these CEOs or founders? Is it something they look at and think, okay, they've already made these failures, hopefully for us, they'll succeed?
No, not really, but I think they have a different impression then. So, in my case, it was my first company, and I built up ResearchGate in the last 5 years. I didn't build anything up before, but the first investor, Matt Kohler, early employee from Facebook and LinkedIn, he knew that he can give me the right advice. So even then, you don't need to fail like hard to succeed then, but you always fail, of course, on a daily basis, and you have to learn out of these failures.
What about the costs of these failures and all the people around you?
Yeah, I think you have to be very responsible with everything, of course, right? Especially with the people you hire and they have families. But of course, this is the risk you have to take, and the risk every entrepreneur is aware of. And I think, of course, always you have to look at every decision you're making. You have to make very responsible decisions. But I think it's just a part of this business. It's just a part of entrepreneurship.
And then taking risks.
Absolutely. And if you're not willing to take these risks, you should not be an entrepreneur.
How did you manage to get the support of Gates?
Oh, this is a longer story, but at the end it was pretty fast. But to get to Gates, of course, you cannot just write an email to bill.gates@microsoft.com and then hope that he replies. It took some time to get through, but at the end, he looked at it and he loved it, and he said, okay, this is the right thing. You want to change the world. And he also, is very involved in eradicating diseases worldwide, and it just fits perfectly to that, what we're trying to achieve.
You set up in Boston, 2008. Why did you come to Berlin?
Yeah, 2008 we started in Boston, and in 2010 I met Matt Kohler, an early employee from Facebook and LinkedIn. And he invested in his first round, and we discussed where to move our company. And his first suggestion was San Francisco. But also he said, and we discussed, was Berlin. And I think Berlin was the city because I think it's international. It's a very strong art and music scene. I think that's very important also for entrepreneurship. And this was, we made this decision 3 years ago, and I think it was the right decision. And we, with ResearchGate, helped to build up an ecosystem here and like a new wave of very successful startups in Berlin.
So yes or no, is Berlin on its way to becoming the next Silicon Valley one day?
I think yes. Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley. Berlin will get something different, but it will be hopefully as successful as the Silicon Valley in the next years.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.